Amazing love.
Welcome, viewers, to the second segment of Amazing Love. In today's program, we are talking to Mr. and Mrs. Chitekwe, the founders of Tanyaradzwa Children's Home, situated in Kadenge village in Murewa. Before we took a break, they were explaining to us some of the challenges they faced from the time they started taking care of various children at their home. They explained to us that most of the children, or all of the children, would go to school barefoot because they could not afford to give them a decent pair of shoes. As we continue in this segment, Mrs. Chitekwe, maybe you can continue to tell us some of the challenges you were facing at the home in terms of the infrastructure and school fees.
Well, Elsie, things were really tight for us because we didn't have good sanitation. Our toilets were so that bad that the Ministry of Health wrote a letter to us to shut down the home. The blankets were few that they could share between 10 children on 2 blankets. The under blanket and the one to cover themselves. And the situation was very bad on us that our children could not even have school uniforms. They could not even have exercise books to write at school. School fees was a problem to us. We didn't have anywhere to lean on. If only we would ask from Mr. Chitekwe, if he doesn't have, it means we are to look first, what do we need first? Shall we pay fees or we need to have food in the cupboard? So as a result, we would be having food, which was not a proper diet to the children. And we would say, shall we need bathing soap or we would use the ordinary laundry soaps for both bathing and doing the laundries? Things were really, really tough for us.
And what was your relationship like with the school authorities?
Our relationship was very sour because they could ask us, why are you doing this if you cannot do it? Why are you having these kids if you cannot afford? Because already you are also abusing them because every time they're going back home, yet you say you are giving them shelter and love, but you cannot do it. Why can't you just quit and leave the children go back in the streets? So our relationship with the school authorities and the local authorities was very sour.
And did it have any effect on their grades at school?
Yes, psychologically and emotionally, children were very, very disturbed because if you go to school and the teacher there is always beating you up for not bringing enough exercise books, you are not in full uniform. And so that on its own, it worked against children's grades at school. Remember, there are roughly 66 learning days at school, and they are attending between 40 and 45, days out of the 66. The rest of the days, they'll be sent away, they'll be turned away, so as to go in and look for school fees. So it was really a problem between us and the school authorities. Even if you'd go and ask for time, to pay, they would give you a very short period, and after that, they would send all the children. You'd expect institutions to maybe write a letter to us as an institution also demanding fees, but they would then send all the children, in their big number back home, and that was really, really an embarrassment. And it was actually a statement to us that, look, you are doing what you cannot do. So it was really, 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 really bad for us.
And what of your relationship with the community? What was it like?
Well, it was also getting a little bad because when we ran out of food, obviously you go to your neighbor, and our neighbor is the community. You would go and ask, for meal or for relish, and sometimes they say, no, this cannot go on like this. Why would you come to, you are the one who started this. It means you had the right funding, you had enough resources. So now it's like you have set this up for the community. So, some of them wouldn't really, feel good to be associated with us because we were now getting into their pockets. We're now getting into their granaries, you see, so as to get food for the children. So, yeah, it was, at one stage, it was really, really bad.
Mrs. Chitekwe, can you tell us, at that point in time, what sort of infrastructure did you have in place for the children? Was the housing enough? What was going on?
The housing was not enough for the children because we were using our personal house, which is only 5 bedrooms, the lounge and the kitchen, accommodating 120 children. So we were later on given a stand to build about 15 hectares to build a proper orphanage.
Can you tell us about the health situation? We know that when you have little ones, there's bound to be infections, diseases. How were you coping with that? Were you affording to take them for proper medical care?
We were not affording to take them for a proper medical care because having a lot of children, it means it's a lot of visits at the clinic. So as a result, at times, the clinic would just say to us, because of poor sanitation, you are having a lot of problems. Because of poor diet, you are having a lot of problems. So you go home and have those just oral treatments for your children. They'll be all right. They'll be fine.
Can you tell us then, after you had met the prophetess, earlier on you said she sent a team and you're not even aware that they were coming to visit you at the orphanage. After you met the prophetess and she began to give you a hand, can you tell us the transformation? How did life change for you as an orphanage?
Life really changed in an amazing way for us. The prophetess sent a team of qualified medical personnel. We are talking of qualified doctors and nurses who would come to Tanyarazwa to examine and treat, children, and not only the children, even some members from the community. They would come also to be examined, and treated free of charge by the medical team, sent by Prophetess Ruth Makandiwa to Tanyarazwa Children's Home. And amongst the community, we had the village head, and his team, and senior citizens in the village, and even other children, who had their parents there, whom parents could not even afford to send to the hospital or to the clinic for treatment. But they came, they got free treatment, free medication as well. And even the children's health actually, it changed for the better. Because not only did she send the health personnel, she actually also sent, food for the children. Plenty of it, which would last. I'm talking of, food that would last for 6 months, and it's for more than 150 children. So you can see how much, you can just imagine how much food it was, that could feed more than 100 children for 6 months. And not, getting a meal a day, but proper 3 meals a day. You get your proper breakfasts, lunch and supper. You see, and in between lunch and supper, you have drinks, cold drinks, mazoe, So it really, really transformed the lives of the children. The plumbing that we have right now, the plan was wholly funded by Prophetess Ruth Makandiwa. Right now, children are enjoying the use of running water. They are bathing using showers. You see, they have clean toilets, where water is running freely. So this is in sharp contrast, to the situation that we experienced before, where it was more like a bush system, you see. But the kind of toilets that we had then, they were not up to standard. They were just makeshift toilets, just a 1 meter hole, and asbestos sheets, making up the walls. So there was really real transformation.
Mrs. Chitekwe, as the mother, I know you are more hands-on. Maybe you could explain further the transformation that you began to see in the children and the other things that the prophetess has helped you with.
Honestly speaking, Elsie, meeting Prophetess Ruth Makandiwa changed our life. We were like a car without fuel. We were about going to the end of having the vision of looking after the orphans because we were no longer affording. But things have really changed for us, that we are now able to have all the proper diet meals for the children. We are also being looked after for our caregivers. We were not able to pay the caregivers when the cupboards were empty. But for now, our caregivers are well dressed. They are given clothing by the prophetess. They are given education to their children by the prophetess. We are given some self-sustaining projects to do by the prophetess. So life has really changed at Chanyarazwa. Things are really moving like we are no longer orphans. We don't know what we can be called after meeting the prophetess. We are just like a big family from United Family Church because everything is now going well and smoothly.
Can you tell us about the children's grades? How has life improved for them at school?
Life has improved for the children at school. They've passed their ordinary exams. We have one of our sons at Chanyarazwa Children's Home. He has come the best students among the schools in Murewa after passing his O-levels. We also have some of our kids, we have managed to go to ZPS. They are now prison officers after being funded by Prophetess Ruth Makandiwa up to the medical checkups when they were about to go for their training. Everything was given by her. So now they've qualified and they've now started working. Things are really changing and it's really amazing at Chanyarazwa.
That's an amazing turnaround. Viewers, don't go away. We'll come back with the next segment in this program, Amazing Love.
Amazing Love.